right, folks. On this episode of the podcast, Zach and I are back in studio for the first time in like 2 weeks because he was out. We've just done Car Week, so we talk about our favorites and least favorites from the Quail. I took delivery of my new Meyers Manx, and I go over the first 500 miles of driving. And man, a whole lot more that we have to catch up on. It's a cruise show. Let's get right to it. It's the Smoking Tire Podcast. I came in, I didn't want to really answer your question earlier before we sat down. And how was my drive back?
Yeah.
It was 8 hours is how long my drive was. It was, and even in a Bentley, that's a long day. But we're here. And if you can, you know that Car Week was good because listen to my voice. It's fucked up.
Mine was shot when I got home.
And and up until like half an hour ago, I didn't speak to a soul today. So I want to talk about a bunch of things from Car Week because it was super fun. And I want to put, and I have 565 miles on the Manx.
Ooh.
Which is pretty good for less than 2 weeks. But I want to talk about the Manx last because that little car clearly did, dominate my attention for most of Car Week in one way or another. But we did do things. We did see things. We saw cars. We saw people. Things happened around us and to us, and we made shit happen. Got a house for the first time. Never done the house thing. I think I liked it.
Yeah.
I think I liked the house. The house vibe is a good vibe. We really picked the fucking right house too. It had so much room for a trailer, and my trailer parking was pretty fucking buttery.
It was very impressive.
My trailer parking is pretty good. Still got it. 20 years later, 20 years after I last towed a car for money, I still got it. Ali and his lady and me and Hannah and Zach and his wife Sarah. It was great. We went to some parties. I went to the Motorlux. Went to the Quail. The Quail is the big one now. And actually, man, like I went to the Quail and I also went to the Concours, and obviously the Concours is what the week is really about. But in terms of what gets the real attention for the week, it has to be the Quail, because it's manufacturers, are doing real reveals there, almost like a proper auto show.
Yes.
There's a full on press junket. Did you see the schedule? So they gave us the little booklet that was attached to your media pass, and you got it. You probably didn't look at it.
I've seen it before, where it's like 11:15. This company's doing a reveal, then 11:25, then 11:42.
Just like how you and I do when you see the show, you do a lap of it because it's not in a circle. It's almost like a big L, but the things are around the perimeter of the big L, the main booths with cars arranged. With individually owned cars that have entered the Concours through in the middle, and you do a lap. But the press release thing was set up so that journalists could just go every 15 minutes the whole way around. Now I didn't do that. In fact, I went to one reveal. I have to say, I happened to walk in right when I walked into the Quail, which was early. I like to go early. Especially because I was showing the car, so I knew I was going to get bogged down talking about that, and I wanted to try to get one lap in, before Hannah got there, because she was coming in a couple hours later than me, and before it got too crazy. So I got there right, the minute it opened, I was there. As I walked in, I saw the Cadillac press launch. Did you see the Cadillac? I believe it's called the elevated velocity concept. And before you Google image search it, Zach.
Okay.
When I approached their big stand, it says Cadillac elevated velocity. And I go, well, that's kind of a nice tagline. Elevated velocity, it's high-end speed. I'm like, okay. I mean, it's not great, but I understand what it means. It's not super stupid. And I figure they're surrounded by hypercars and shit. They're probably going to have some something cool, right? Something fast. Elevated velocity, as it turns out, is not a tagline. That's the name of the car. that they've got is elevated velocity concept. So based on just what I've told you,
crossover.
Picture me that car.
Yeah.
Did you see it already?
No, I did not.
Okay. All right,
but I'm hearing elevated and it's a name, so it's probably higher off the ground than a car. Mm-hmm. But they're trying to do a play on words where it's elevated above the ground, but also, figuratively, it's elevated above its peers. Velocity, it's just going to be something that's supposed to be kind of fast and concept. But I think it's going to be like a fast crossover.
So your train of thought is on the absolute right track, but even on that track, it don't look like you think it's gonna. Okay, now get the image. You now seriously pull up the image now, because it looks like if you took that new $300,000 thing they're doing. Imagine you took that and made it into a coupe, and then just put like giant fucking enormous wheels and tires and giant fucking enormous gull wing doors on it. And it's apparently some kind of ultra luxury off-road
like
rally.
Martian Rover.
Yes, it is a Martian Rover.
It is, but it's a luxurious one.
A luxurious, fast Martian Rover.
It's sort of shooting brake-ish. But yes, it looks like it's a foot off the ground. There's a lot of daylight underneath this car.
Bro, they had it there under a cover and they were doing a reveal. But the way the cover draped, I thought it was going to be like a coupe or something that was on a platform. And it looks like a coupe that's on a platform, but just it has wheels that dangle down to the floor.
Oh, come on.
I wish there was a photo of it. You got to get the photo of it on the stand, like not these press photos. Just do Google Images and see if you can find it from the launch. Oh, these fucking press photos. Come on, there. That looks like security cam footage. That's not quite it, but either way. Oh, there. Just even the profile.
Yeah,
it's so tall. It's so huge and tall. So when they pulled this off, I kind of audibly gasped and walked away, and I was like, I'm done with the reveals now.
So the back of it, the roofline looks like an F-type, but only until you get to where the rear spoiler would be. Then you've got about 2 feet of hexagons reaching from that roofline all the way down to the lower splitter where the wheels, the air from the wheels comes out. I mean, that's really tall.
Well, from that rear axle back, it looks like that Celestiq car, the new one, which I saw like 10 of them rolling around. I think they're all manufacturer cars driving people, but
this is
it's a lot.
But I mean, the line on the top is not bad looking. It looks like a fairly traditional coupe.
Yeah,
but it's lifted. This is like micro machines.
Very strange.
Short front overhang. What are the wheels? When you saw them, are they huge?
The wheels look like 24s. They're huge. They're so big.
Can we talk about
the roof of this car is like 6 feet tall.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it. There's
None of
so
these
much
photos
air
have
under
it. Got to find a photo of a human next to it. That's what we really need here. We need scale. In the desert, there is no scale. All of these press photos are completely devoid of scale. Theirs is on the stand. That's one. The 3 days ago, car buzzed. Yeah, look at that. So there's a human on the right. Oh, come on, please, just there. Look, there's a person. So it's really tall.
The door sill looks like it's almost knee height.
Yeah.
That's very high. Yeah. The front is. Look, as a concept, it's very future forward, whatever. But these air intakes on the front are so unattractive.
Well, look, if that front, you can see how the nose could be what future sedans look like ish on the nose, right?
This part,
yeah.
Right where this hood crease is, sure, but it's
a lot.
It's a lot.
It's really a lot.
You're eating parking cones with this.
So we don't need to spend too much more time on it, but that's the other thing. So anyway, good. How about good things? Good things from Quail. The Gordon Murray F1 thing,
dude,
obviously.
Holy moly, that's
incredibly sick. you know, it really does look like the F1,
100%,
in a good way, and it's pretty much T50 underneath, although they punched it out from 4.0 to 4.3, so it to go faster. It's just incredibly sick. It kind of looks like. Yeah, God, it's so good.
It's so pretty.
It's going to have headlights. It has no headlights right now. Those see the placeholders?
Yes.
They didn't have time to do headlights, but they showed it anyway.
I gotta say though, the problem with this car, and it's the only problem, is it reinforces the fact that the T50 is not, in my opinion, and a lot of other opinions, stunning to look at. It's a little awkward.
Yeah.
The proportions.
I don't mind how it looks.
I don't mind, but
I think it's nice. But I think the T50 has things about it that make it a lot more usable, whereas unless this has like a crazy nose lift system, like this is a less usable car.
Oh, sure.
That probably wouldn't, you know, this is a car where someone paid Gordon an extraordinary amount of money to tailor something to their taste versus Gordon saying, what are my values applied to the car? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with that.
In fact, the fact that this is for like essentially one guy is the biggest problem with it. Like, it's, you know, for GMA, I'm sure it makes total sense to do something like this. It's a huge amount of money from one person. It's probably like keeps your company running for like, you know, months, if not most of a year. And certainly, you know, Gordon was sick, and so probably he was able to ensure that his family is taken care of if something does happen to him. But
he's sick?
Yeah, he was fighting cancer.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's why he wasn't at the event.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow. That's so sad.
Yeah, it's, you know, like as cancer can be. I think it's up down. But either way, that's why I think is why he was not on the show.
Okay.
But and that's not like breaking news, like other places have reported that. But either way, I just I hope GMA is an incredibly niche outfit to begin with, and so but Bugatti is doing these $10 million one of, you know, having whole cars developed for one person. More so than the normal tailor-made type of stuff, like this, where it's a Chiron or a Tourbillon or whatever underneath, and it's a completely different car. I just that's just not good for cars.
Yeah, I agree.
Like that's just that's bad. That's literal Gilded Era shit, and we know how that ends. Like we see the Gilded Era cars on Pebble Beach, like on the lawn on Saturday. We know what happened after 1929.
Well, I think it does seem like there are more of the, you know, back in the day it was like, oh, only the Sultan of Brunei could order this kind of stuff. And now Bugatti will make whatever 10 to 20 special edition bolides or something because there's more people that have that much money, blah, 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 blah. And I don't know. I mean, this is such, I'm torn. This is such an amazing work of art, and it's fantastic to see what they did if they kind of, redesigned the McLaren F1, basically.
Well, and on the one hand, they wouldn't have done it if someone didn't pony up the cash. On the other hand, the new standard shouldn't be that manufacturers realize that they can make more money selling fewer cars to fewer people for enormous amounts of money versus selling more cars that more people could afford. I'm not talking about BRZs, but I mean if you don't want Porsche, for instance, to realize that moving ultra upmarket is really the way to go, or Lamborghini, or any of these people.
It's hard. I think there's the pull and the push, right? There's the pull of car companies realizing they can do this and they can sell them to 10 or 20 people. So that's the pull. The push is increased income disparity, stagnant wages, and I'm not trying to become a socialist, just look at graphs, and customers can't afford to buy enough cars to keep the companies afloat.
It's Gilded Era shit. Now we were there 100 years ago.
Sure.
1929, it's 2025. Wake the fuck up.
Yeah, 100 years. Our memory is fantastic. This is a little different because it's a super exclusive company already doing another super exclusive thing.
Sure.
But, Ferrari does a little bit, and if Porsche starts doing it...
they're not the only company doing this.
Yeah.
I mean, Ferrari has been doing in-house coach building for about 15 years now. Not to mention what they were doing in the 60s, but now... And Bugatti is doing it, and I think, we were at the Quail. Like, it's a crazy thing that type of stuff gets very, very normalized there. But I don't know. It just because we're constantly being asked, like, what are the affordable sports cars? What are the affordable sports cars? And affordable means different things, but I think it generally means cars like under $100,000
for sure.
Like that's already very, very expensive. But like baseline, whatever it is, like $75,000 is a lot of money, but not if you're buying a 911 turbo. You know what I mean? Like so, but like we don't want car makers to realize that because their shareholders want profit, and if all of a sudden Audi or something, a more mainstream brand goes, hey, look at this. These guys are making super luxury cars and they're diverting resources away from cars for everybody to cars for just a couple of people. And yeah, they make more profit, but the rest of their product goes down. Like, that's bad, right? I think that's bad. Seems bad. I
think it's bad. I agree. I would hope that a company like Porsche would be very careful and hesitant to do that because they put so much work into like their image and marketing their cars to everybody basically, and the cheap ones are still good, the expensive ones are good, and they have their exclusive manufacturer side. But I feel like they are constantly trying to reach out and remind so many different markets and enthusiast clubs and stuff that they exist, that it would be a big mistake for them to now.
I think so too, but the allure of money is very strong in a publicly traded company.
Yeah, but I guess I just hope that companies can continue to do both. If someone wants to pay you $10 million to turn a GT4 RS into a GT5 RS, whatever the fuck that would be, okay, but don't stop selling the regular Spider, the regular 718, and all those other cars. Like, keep that going. Don't.
Yeah, I mean, so to get a tourbillon allocation, you had to already own a Bugatti.
Sure.
Eventually someone outside this loop has to buy a Bugatti. Otherwise, you're a car company that exists to sell the cars to the same 200 people.
Well, I think, someone always sells their Bugatti, and then someone buys it. Ed Bullion, technically, he owns a Bugatti. He could get on the tourbillon list.
I don't know.
Probably the bottom of it.
Yeah, and you probably can't if you didn't get it from a dealer. Or you don't, if you bought it at an auction or something, and you have to have a major service history dealer. I don't think fucking used like ratty ass weird smelling Bugattis are what they're talking about there.
No, probably not. But I just think there's enough cars that trade hands that it's probably hard to get in that door. And if you're fortunate enough to have the money to try to get in the door, good for you. But I think there's a way in. It's just not easy.
I don't know. It all starts to feel a little grotesque.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't.
Dude, there was like so many Koenigseggs and Bugattis and shit, and it's all that like those kids cared about. Like the people like on the side, like they all were just like the hypercar spot. It was constant.
But when I was a kid, I was the same way because you see you see other cars a lot. And if I saw a Ferrari, because back then they used to be a lot more rare, I'd get more excited than if I saw an M3 or an old thing or whatever.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to like gatekeep cars. I don't know, man. The fucking based on the vibe I got from the whole week, like the culture surrounding those type of cars right now is like medium toxic, and sort of like vapid. It doesn't. I don't know.
How so?
I don't know. Maybe it just. I don't know. Maybe it just seems like because Monterey Car Week is just all fucking traffic. It's just so much traffic. You're driving these things that go so fast at a speed that is so fucking slow. And every chance these fucking guys get are just like neutral, like come on, man, like outdoor dining, like what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's like Bro, the number of 7-figure cars I saw that had fucking Instagram handles on their shit, dude. Like, this is some trashy ass garbage, dude. Come on.
Well, yeah. Either those folks are trying to make have a tax write-off with like, oh, this is my business, it's my media business, which is lame, or they're trying to get attention after they already got rich, which
is even lamer.
It is lamer, and I'm not surprised by it because we've talked about this before. Like, they poll students in junior high and like, what do you want to be? Influencer.
Yeah.
I mean, and even before, people, I think in the 90s or even before that, a lot of we all looked up to movie stars and stuff because you saw them like, oh wow, everyone celebrates them. They're famous. Wouldn't that be cool? But it seems so difficult. You go, all right, I'm going to go get a job as a dentist. I'm just going to go stay in my lane and I'll watch the movies. But now it feels accessible. Like you could almost get there if you put your Instagram handle on your supercar. And then you could not only be rich from your law practice or whatever, your private equity firm that, you know, guts a company and then makes the profit, but you also can be cool at a car show. And everybody wants to be cool. Everyone in high school, if you weren't cool, you were envious of the people who were cool because it seemed like they had the secret, like they had the key to life. Now you can essentially purchase that.
Well, you definitely can, but I don't know. It seems like I'm very like turned off to it, obviously. Having said that, I'm not saying like Car Week was bad. Like Car Week was really fun. I saw like a lot of really cool things. There was, as usual, like crazy rally cars being driven around.
Yes.
Old school like AMG, like Hammers and stuff. Really, lots of Skylines. Skylines have all of a sudden become like rather tasteful, actually. And classic Ferraris and stuff. A lot of Testarossas. Saw a lot of Testarossas this year. Probably I saw several Countaches, a few different ones, including one that suffered some real damage the day of the tour.
Oh, the black one.
The black one.
Yes.
I think snapped an axle or something rather ugly.
I saw 2 white Countaches parked next to each other. One was Doug DeMuro's.
One was Doug's, yeah. I don't know who the other one was. I wonder if it was our buddy James Chen from Axis Wheels. Like he's got a white.
I don't know. It was funny that on the Quail it's like, well, for the most part there's a lot of cars are very individual. It's like we chose this because it represents this mark or whatever. And then there were 2 white Countaches next to each other. Although, to be fair, there were also like 9 white GT350 Shelbys. But it's because it was a celebration of Shelby.
There was a Shelby class.
Yeah.
There was I don't know if there was a Countach class, but every year there is like a vintage supercar class. So in that area where those Countaches were is usually always like Countaches and Diablos and Vectors and 90s super. There was that white Vector. I also saw a black Vector.
Okay.
Vector. If you're rolling Vector's a different story.
Yeah.
You're rolling a Vector around Car Week. Like,
Brave.
Respect.
Brave.
Yeah.
You brought your own flat toe. You brought your own tow truck.
That's the thing. Like if you're rolling a fucking Countach, you're personally rolling the dice a little bit. Like you're not just buying in. You're like, you have to like be willing to like be a car person a little bit and like deal with a heavy clutch and deal with a fucking foggy window. You know what I mean? Like I've done Car Week a bunch of ways. I've done it in like press cars. I've done it in like other the Million Mile Lexus. I did it without a car one year. I flew up. I've done it in my old cars. Like doing it in if you're gonna do it in a cool car, like being a fucking car person and doing it in a car that like requires like a little something of you, like a little bit, doesn't need to be unreliable, but like fucking you gotta like commit a little bit. Like just rolling up in your 7-figure whatever and paying the valet $500 to park it up front, it's like pretty lame to me. Like there's just better ways to do it.
Well, because I think the buying a 720S and paying the valet all the money, you're doing it the easy way in a couple of ways. Like you're buying a cool car, which is cool, and it's an amazing car. Like I don't want to take somebody away from working hard and entertaining that car.
7 Series car is excellent.
But actually, the funniest example, and maybe it was intentional because it was the Porsche party, but as we walked up, there were like 5 or 6 GT3 RSs waiting to valet their cars. And look, phenomenal vehicle on the track. Driving slowly in traffic on somewhat bumpy roads, like there's not a worse car out there.
I forget who fucking said it, someone's. I'm not going to credit someone properly. I think it might have been Ryan actually, who said that the 992.2 or the new GT3 RS is effectively the new Aventador.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Ryan,
him.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is an incredibly astute observation.
Yeah.
It very, very much is. They all have fucking straight pipes.
Yep.
None of which are needed.
And they don't sound good, and they're too loud.
They all sound bad.
Yep.
Yeah. And they drive them slowly around with full downforce deployed. Yeah. And having actually tried that for myself, so maybe they are giving something of themselves, because driving one of those it does suck when you're not going fast.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, that's better than some other ones. But no, I just like I got such a satisfaction out of driving the Manx around, like no windows and doors. Like you're outside, and it's small and fucking loud and weird. And I think, in my opinion, I think you get, in terms of attention or whatever, it's nearly 1-to-1 with the hypercars for 2%, or whatever one of the costs compared to one of those things. So I like really, showing it and at the Quail, but also just driving it around. When we towed it up with the Bentley, which worked, brilliantly, actually. Bentley V8S could certainly tow a Featherlight trailer with a Meyers Manx on it just fine, and unloaded it right after the Motorlux party, and then the Manx was just my car for the whole rest of Car Week, and so I took delivery of it on Wednesday. And then we were it was 1 week before we left. So I had a weekend with it. On the way home, I took delivery of it in Costa Mesa and drove it home, 50 miles up the 405. It was running hotter than it was supposed to. It wasn't terminally hot, but it was a number that did not make them happy. So they were the Manx guys were a little red-faced and embarrassed that was my first drive, and they came up here. And they spent the whole day fiddling with it. And they discovered there was a bad O2 sensor that was causing it to run slightly lean, which is why it was getting hot. They fixed that. They checked the tune. They drove it around for a while. They also put a bunch of different sensors on it, and they found that the coolant, the temp display gauge was reading 20 degrees higher than the actual coolant temperature. So that's good.
That is good.
I mean, it's not good, but better than the alternative. So anyway, but I used it. Let's see. They gave it to me with 150 miles on it, because they obviously did some development driving too, and I've got up to 565 miles, and this is in a little car with no windows or roof or climate control or radio or anything really. It was fucking amazing. It was dead to nuts reliable. It did not run hot at all. I do have a list of notes, things that needs a little bit of adjusting. The throttle response, for instance, is too sensitive at maintenance throttle. So if you're just cruising along in second gear, it's only a 4-speed, so your in gear is a little longer. If you're just cruising along in second gear and you hit a bump and your foot does this, it then causes that loop.
You got the Jaguar sport throttle problem.
Yeah, sport throttle problem. So they need to dumb the throttle down a little bit. It's all Motec shit. And it was great. We took it on the tour. Here's the photo of us watching the Tour de Elegance in Big Sur. So we drove it down. The heated seats, awesome. They work great. 2-mode heated seats. I only used 8. I filled it up and I forget how many miles I put on it before getting to Monterey. I think it was I want to say I was in high 2s when I got to Monterey. I filled it up, and now it's at 560, and I only used 8 gallons of gas, which is pretty good.
Wow.
Yeah. It's pretty efficient, actually.
Yeah, the Bentley used a lot more than that. I filled it up once.
Yeah. Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, I guess you did. Yeah. The Bentley uses more. Although I got 13 and a half to 14 and a half while towing, which is really not bad. And then, you guys left on Saturday.
Uh-huh.
Hannah also left on Saturday. I drove it down to Spike's podcast down at Pebble. We did the show. And I wanted to show Jerry. I'm showing him like pictures of it and whatever, and he's like, "Oh, that's interesting, okay." And he basically insinuated, he's like, "Yeah, I'd like to have an engine like that." He basically said, "Yeah, I'd suffer through that car to have an engine like that." And I was like, "Suffer?" I was like, "Jerry, it's a really nice car. It's like a brand new build." He's like, "Well, come on, it's what you buy and what I buy." I was like, "Are you calling me poor?" And he effectively was. Now he was having fun, and I was like. It's parked right there. I was like, you're not in that much of a rush. Like, you need to. So he took him out, and he was looking at it, and okay, cool, neat. And he likes the seats. I told him the story, the thing, the Audi stage. Oh, it's cool. Now start it. And I showed him how to start it. And when he did the crank and the plunge, and then it fired, he did the face, the most full of wonder, boyish. This. And then I give it a few revs, and now I show him how to turn it off, and he pull out the big plunging knob, and he's like, that's something. That's
cool.
That's cool. So I have that. I have Seinfeld approval, which is always fun. And then the four of us, me, Johnny, Spike, me, Spike, Paul, and Jerry. Johnny had to go somewhere else. Went down to the Gooding tent, and so we just wandered around looking at some of the upcoming lots, watching a few auctions, watching a couple Ferrari 250s drop an absolute deuce. Nobody wants 250s apparently.
Wow.
Yeah, old cars are going cheap, and new cars are going real money. 90s Super F50s, etc. Enormous money. And, every other old fucking car, blue chip quote car is down pretty much. But we go to look, Jerry and I we go to look at this other car. And we're poking around it, and it seems, it's maybe not great. It's okay, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then we're kind of sitting around, and Paul's like, wouldn't it be, we should buy something. And I'm like, what? He's like, I got a paddle. And I'm like, the guys are like, yeah. So let's see what comes up. And they're looking like everything seems kind of expensive coming up. But then this like 1950 Rolls Royce, 50-something Rolls Royce comes up, and it's like black and gold, and like a $6 million Ferrari had just gone across the block, and the guy's like, open the bidding at $25,000. And we all kind of like look at each other, and I'm like, that would be fun to like drive around in next year. And Paul's like, get it. And I was like, what do you mean get it? He's like, I'll go half. You get it. And I'm like, thank God it went for like $90,000, and it would have been too much to be a joke. But like, if this thing was like under $40,000, I think we would have had to buy it as a joke. I don't know. But
it's so unfair.
But it was crazy.
That
they
Paul
were talking,
initiates the idea, and then he's like, you buy it. I'll go half. You're like, what? This is your idea.
Yeah, I'm good for it.
You have way more money.
I'm good for it, yeah. But like, they leave, and I go to leave, and Jerry emails me later and says that like my car and the car that we looked at together were his two favorites. And oh, by the way, he bought the one we looked at. And I'm not going to say what it is because I don't know if he wants that to be public knowledge or whatever. But like, he wasn't like, ooh, this seems interesting, I might buy it. We just looked at it and was like, huh, okay. He clearly went to the airport, got on his plane, pulled up the website, read something about it, and was interested in something in the story, and then just like threw a bid in from his plane.
Wow.
Which is pretty
very cool.
Yeah. So they go, we
did
do
not
the podcast.
buy a Koenigsegg.
No, and everyone else is gone. I went to the Czinger party, Czinger 21C party. They set 5 track records in 5 days, and they were celebrating that. I checked out the cars. They're going to let us have a drive in the 21C. The Czinger 21C is incredibly cool. There were 7 of them there. People are like, is this a real car? And I personally saw, I believe, 7 or 8 of them in one place, customer cars. So I think they've delivered 8. and they can apparently do about one every 2 weeks, which is what they're doing. Yeah, so it's really cool, really really cool. Not 50 state carb legal, 2.66 liter twin turbo V8 bespoke, 750 horsepower, and then 550 horsepower e motors. Like, yeah, 3,500 pounds, 1,500 pounds of downforce. Fucking yowza! It's
rad. I mean, I'm kind of one of the skeptics because I worked for a company. We filmed their B-roll in like 2018 or something.
Yeah.
So if I'm getting sued right now by Kevin Czinger, I'm sorry. But I was so excited, and I still am. When I see their manufacturing, and they had the chassis out on the quail on the lawn, and I brought Sarah over, and I was like, you got to see this stuff. Like, look at this control arm. Look at the shape of it.
The 3D printed stuff.
All the 3D printed stuff. Yeah. And then what you can't see there is that some of their pieces are hollow in different spots. Like, if you imagine you're baking
like
dough.
Like a geode.
Or like, sure. Yeah, like a geode. Like, imagine if you're baking dough and you start pulling it apart.
Yeah.
And they get those little air pockets, but there's like, tendrils stretching between them, or it's like, venom. They have that because they know where to put material for strength and where you don't need it. Mm-hmm. And they did it with their brakes. They did it with their control. Like, there's so many things in the chassis that are really rad the way they're made.
Yeah.
But I remember seeing, the cars that were headed up to Monterey 7-ish years ago, and then not really hearing anything about them since then. So that's why I was one of the people going, hey, what's going on with this car? Road and Track tested one, I think, like a year or two ago, but their drive speed was limited. So
Jethro tested one for real.
Oh, okay.
For Top Gear, like a couple weeks ago, at the same day as they did one of these records.
Sure.
At Thunderhill, I think. And they said the car that I can drive is 100% production finished car, full power.
Sick.
Yeah.
I think I'm hoping that, like so many other people, when they decide to take on the endeavor of building a car, you realize how complicated it is, but it doesn't mean your idea is bad or that it's going to be a problem.
These are just really interesting because of that additive manufacturing stuff. I mean, they don't look. It's not like anything else. It's not just. Just carbon tub is cool, but like this is if you see the inside of these, like you said, it's like that's a different shit.
Yeah,
really different.
I mean, I should add for people who don't know, they use the company that owns Czinger is called Divergent, and they do additive 3D printing with metal.
Yeah,
at
they do
industrial
it for
scale.
Industrial, for military applications, like all kinds of stuff.
Yeah,
but I think I heard between Lucas Czinger, the son, who's like our age, runs the actual car company. The father runs the 3D printing company, and they're mostly industrial and military applications. The car is sort of a halo product that shows off what they can do. Still important, but manufacturing in California. Yep. And the car is not ultra low volume vehicle so they crash tested it. They pass emissions in California. They pass CARB. They pass whatever the 2028 CAFE standards were that now, as I said in the previous podcast, have no fines, but they pass those too. So they say. So when I got in it and started it and revved the engine, you could just feel like the engine revs real fast, like 911 ST fast. But there are no vibrations through the chassis when you do that rev. You know what I mean? Like F1, but
is that because the rotating mass is so small?
The rotating mass is so small, and the chassis is so rigid, and the engine is mounted in a way where it just does not vibrate. It's just such a smooth revving engine that it doesn't send any vibrations really at all into the chassis when it's unloaded anyway. But like, if you think of a Corvette or some big,
the whole thing tilts.
It tilts and you can feel it. There's nothing. It's really interesting.
It's very cool.
Even the SSC that we drove a couple weeks ago and like the Nelson Racing, like that, for a quote LS based, and it's not really LS based, but it's LS based in design family, the flat plane, the change displacement. It's not exactly, but if you revved that, like you could feel it revving. This, like, you can't.
Wow.
It's like cool, really cool.
Tiny V8.
Tiny.
Really?
2.66. Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, if we drive it together, the seating is fighter jet
butts,
style,
baby.
Right.
Yeah.
So we'll need comms to discuss. It's super cool.
Yeah, so the California company, shout out to them. But then so I stayed for the Concours, and actually, if you look at my Instagram post from the Concours, my favorite car ended up winning the Best in Show. This Hispano Suiza had a body made of tulip wood.
What?
Look at the next.
What does that even mean?
Literal, the wood of tulip plants, tulip wood.
But like, do tulips turn into trees?
I guess.
All right.
Somewhere. It's a torpedo back. It's a speedster front, open fender, and the woodwork is almost like an incredibly fine guitar. Click to the next photo. The first 4 photos. It has an alligator or crocodile interior.
Whoa.
And some ridiculous, beautiful chrome gauges, and there's like 1,800 aluminum rivets holding all the wood together. Click one more. That's the tight shot of the wood.
Wow, the wood looks like it's been hit with precise buckshot.
Yeah, this stopped me for about 10 minutes, and I don't want to say I called it, but clearly, look, I said this is my favorite car of the show. That ended up winning Best in Show, and then the one after that, it was a Lancia concept car. It was really, really funky. It was almost like an American car from a Motorama, Futurama car from the 50s, but it's a Lancia with wheel spats over all 4 wheels. And if you click to the next photo, Zach, on the other side, they just pop up like the luggage doors on a Greyhound bus so you can get to the wheels. And then the next photo of this one, the dash, the steering wheel, all the control knobs, the shifter knob, and all the gauge bezels are lucite.
Whoa.
Amazing.
Yeah, very
stuff.
Motorama.
Very
much
Motorama,
so. For people listening, it's almost like the car is sinking into the ground and the wheels have disappeared.
So funky,
cool.
right?
Yeah.
So some of this stuff, the Virgil Exner stuff, here's a guy with the guy with the blue coat there is showing his Ferrari and has his parrot on his shoulder.
Oh, wow. It kind of blends in.
It does.
Sure.
Yeah. And there was a cool Land Rover display of some really historically significant Land Rovers, the Darien Gap. What I really liked about the Land Rover display, and you can see by the yellow flags behind it, it was the most downwind section of the entire concourse. Make of that what you will. Sometimes you just want to be real polite and go downwind. Maybe it's farts. Maybe it's something else.
Do you think the truck smelled bad?
Huh?
Do you think the trucks smelled bad?
No, but like hypothetically, if a fucking total degenerate wanted to smoke a fucking joint at the concourse, I'm just saying hypothetically you would find the most downwind section of the concourse, perhaps one with a cliff behind you.
Gotcha.
And I'm not saying that I ended up there for that reason, but I'm saying it would be a good reason to end up there. And once you got there, discovering an actual Camel Trophy Defender is pretty rad.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. And then the BMW Andy Warhol M1 Pro car in person is the sickest shit.
Yeah, that was cool.
That's the fucking jam. This Ferrari Daytona Spider in Jewish Racing Gold had 87 miles on it and was in the unrestored preservation class.
It's just such a waste of a car. 87 miles.
It really is.
Plus painting it Jewish Racing Gold.
It's kind. Other than the go back, I like the gold. You know what I don't like is that black belt line stripe. That's a big fucking yuck to me.
Oh, that's not rubber. Is that paint?
No, that's a painted recessed
thing. Oh, that's
thing.
not.
It's no bueno.
That is not a good accent.
And it goes all the way around the back too.
No.
Yeah, that just needs to be painted immediately.
Yeah.
Just body color, regular paint, body color.
I mean, an accent spot might be cool, but just ask an artist what goes with gold besides black.
Yeah, it's not good.
This
was Virgil Exner's attempt to revive the Duesenberg brand on a Stutz Blackhawk in the 70s, and the car is weird as fuck. But if you look at click to the next one, the dashboard. This photo, you might really have to zoom in on your phone. That vertical center stack is insanity. and whatever the bezels are made of is this weird gold tiger's eye, like pearly thing. If you zoom in on it, it looks real crazy. I don't know if you can.
The interior does look very nice. It's much better looking and simpler looking than the exterior.
Yeah. There was a Virgil Exner tribute class, and this was one of them. Me and I was walking around with with my buddy Pete. You know Pete Brotman.
Oh yeah,
shout out to him, vintage car dealer. We scammed our way into the Lamborghini booth for a little espresso, and then we were walking around, and that Imperial. I looked at that and I was like, if this rolls up to your house, your dad is gonna die quietly. He's just gonna be standing and then not be standing and be dead. That's someone gets out of this car and stabs your father in the neck with a needle and then just carries them away.
Well, because someone sits in the back and just nods to have it done.
Yeah.
Right. I saw Pete at Motorlux, and I think he was in the middle of like trying to sell a car because I walked up and said hi, and he gave me the head nod, handshake, kind of like, hi, how you doing? And, you know, it's like when you're talking to a girl and you're 14 and it's like, hey, what's up, dude?
Yeah.
Get out of here. Yeah. So I took his nod and I turned around.
He was doing business, you know?
He was doing business.
But then we went to the Lamborghini house, like I said, and I met a fucking cool dude at Lamborghini factory named Nicolo, and I learned that they now have a sort of a process that's kind of like the Ferrari Classic process where they authenticate your car. And, part of it, you get this beautiful book that really you have to bring your car to a dealer, and they look at everything, all your, serial numbers. They make sure your engine, gearbox match, and this and that. And it's a few $1,000, and you get a letter of authenticity and a book and whatever. So I don't know. I might do it when the restoration's actually done. Seems like maybe having a thing worth doing.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a real one. See?
Right.
See my certificate of authenticity? But the Lambo house, pretty sweet. It had pasta makers in there.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was all right.
What day did you go there, Sunday?
That was at the Concours.
Oh, okay.
No, it was their house on the lawn at the Concours.
Wow.
Also went to the Rolex breakfast, which was all right. Met Tom Christensen, the Le Mans driver.
Yes. Putting it mildly.
Yeah, 9-time Le Mans champion. Sorry. And then I went back to the house, and I took a nap. Everyone's gone. I have the whole house to myself now. Jeff Glucker and Andrew from Acura, invite me to the Acura dinner, and I have nothing else to do, so I go. It's way out at Carmel Valley Ranch, and I had connected the trailer to the Bentley. I'm not going to roll out there dragging a trailer, so I drive the Manx out there, and this is now 6:30 p.m. the night of the Concours. All other exotic cars have gone. I am the last interesting car driving down. I saw no other interesting cars.
Wow.
Like hours after the Concours ended.
Wow.
Just gone. It took me 20 minutes to get from our house to Carmel Valley Ranch, and there was no other
That was
car.
like an hour drive earlier in the week, yeah.
So dinner's good, whatever, come back. And oh, by the way, whatever it was, Saturday night, when I went from the Czinger party to the fire pits at Spanish Bay, it was raining. And I was driving that. And so...
How are the windshield wipers?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. So me and Zach were looking at each other at the table right now, and if I'm driving the car and looking out the windshield at you, and if you're forward, you're where I need to look, the windshield wiper is really good right here. It's basically here.
In front of your shoulder, not your face.
It's in front of my right shoulder.
Okay.
So I have two options. One is to turn the wiper on, and
oh boy,
and you can actually see it in the photo.
Now, yeah.
You can see it in the photo. I can literally do this. So what did I do? I tried the reach around wipe a few times. That got very frustrating. And then eventually I committed to the Ace Ventura. And I went head out, right hand on the wheel.
How fast were you going?
Well, I was going down 17-mile drive at night in the wet. So second gear, 30. I was not mobbing.
All right.
It was cold. My head was outside of the vehicle.
Oh, man.
That one was tough. So on the way, I go to Carmel Valley Ranch for dinner with Jeff and Andrew Quillen and Acura and some other folks that were there, Lynn. coming back. Last drive before the car goes on the trailer. Hit PCH. Turn right to go back to Monterey Car house. Going up the hill. About quarter mile up the hill. The car dies. My very last drive of the whole trip. The car's been fucking perfect the entire time, and it dies. And before it died, just before it died, not like seconds before, but maybe like a minute before it died, you know, I've got my flashers high beams are up here. Normally they do the floor high beam, but I made it on the trigger. Right before I went to flash the high beams, not to flash somebody, but to turn the high beams on. And when I pulled the trigger, it went from low to high, and then the lights turned off.
Oh,
and then I let go of the trigger, and they went back to the low beams. And I tried it again a couple times.
Okay, so you have a voltage issue?
Well, so the car dies. Full power. No, there's no power, no electricity at all. I coasted to like, now we're going uphill, so I have almost no inertia. I coasted to like 30 feet below, there's a side road. I quickly hop out and like try to push. Now there's construction, so there's mad traffic going the other way. Traffic's flying up the hill, almost dead stop going down the hill.
You're still going uphill? You try to keep pushing the car?
I try to push the car up the hill.
Ooh, bold move.
It's 1,500 pounds, but yeah, I can't do it. So I yanked the handbrake. A guy, I don't know if he recognizes me. I think he does. He goes, hey, let me help you, and runs out of his car, and we push it. With two people, it's real easy. We push it like the 50 feet to the side street, and I'm like, oh, thank you so much. And like traffic's starting to go. So he just like runs back to his car, and he's gone.
It's Jerry Seinfeld.
Thank God there was cell service, because it's dark, really dark out there wherever I am. And there's traffic, but other than that, it's dark. And I'm on this little side road, and I go, okay, I've already hooked up the trailer to the Bentley. Do I have cell service? Yes. Step one, get an Uber, pick me up, go to the house. So I get an Uber. It's like 10 minutes or whatever away. And I go, I don't have power, and the ramps onto the trailer are kind of steep. And I go, I don't know how I'm going to get this on. There's no winch on the trailer. So I called Jeff back, and I go, Jeff, and he goes, it broke, didn't it? He's like, it's not even enough time for you to get home yet. He's like, I knew it. He's like, I knew something happened. Second the phone rang. And he goes, what do you need? And I go, well, I'm going to get an Uber. I'm going to go get the trailer. And then can I come back to Carmel Valley Ranch and get you, and we can go load it up, and then I'll drive you back to Carmel. Now, for people unfamiliar with the geography of this, each leg of this is about 10 miles. Okay. So like and it's real dark. So, I then execute this plan. I'd go to the house. I get the trailer. I drive all the way back out to Carmel Valley Ranch. Because an empty aluminum trailer is like loud, and there's all these speed bumps in Carmel Valley Ranch. I make so much noise coming in this fucking place. Jeff tells me he can hear me from like really far away. Just an empty trailer. Get Jeff. We go back. Fortunately, I didn't look too much into the side street. I just made sure the Manx was safe before I abandoned it to, in an Uber to go get the trailer. So there's actually a downhill, and I'm like, oh. So I parked the trailer pointed down.
Just soapbox it in there.
And then we were able to, and actually a dude in an Urus stops, and he's a fan. He recognizes me. And so, all right, I hop in and steer, because I got to get some inertia, but like it's not a solid piece. It's two ramps, so we got to line it up right, but also get the inertia of the downhill. And we do it, and it's pitch black, but Jeff and I get the thing strapped up pretty good. And I run him back to his hotel. I run back to the house. I had intended to be in bed at like 9:30. It's now midnight. It's now midnight when I get back to the thing. And I now have to like sort of prepare the Manx for transport. So I woke up Jonathan, the radio guy from Manx, and we think it was just a fuse. There's like a main fuse, because the only things that worked were There's no power to anything except those high beams, funny enough.
Strange.
And the starter motor. And the starter motor's hot wired directly to the battery for very obvious reasons. It has to start when everything else is off. So that led him to believe that there was a fuse somewhere. And he's like, this is going to be a 5-minute fix. You just can't do it in pitch black on the side of the road right now on a Sunday night. So fortunately, Jeff was a fucking rock star, got out of bed. He mid-jerk. I mean, he was like about to fucking...
Well, now he's edging, thanks to you.
He was totally edging. I massage seated him, in the
Calm him down a little bit.
Yeah, now he could get back to his hotel, finish, literally. And, so I spent half an hour prepping the car for trailering at midnight. And, left at fucking 7 o'clock this morning.
How do you prep it? You just take the seat covers on,
I had to put the
top
seat
off.
covers on, take the top off, bolt the top bar together, little shit, but it's by myself in the dark.
Yeah, at midnight.
At midnight after the Concours and all this.
It's a long day.
That was a very long day. And then this morning, it because of that accident, then took 8 hours to get home. So, I feel like it was, when on the racetrack, it's just one more lap and then you crash. Or at the ski mountain, it's one more run, and that's when you have a huge accident or something. This was one more, I didn't have to attach the trailer to the Bentley. I could attach the trailer to the Bentley in 2.5 minutes. I'm really good at that. I wanted to hook the trailer up to the Bentley to prepare. I'll just drive the Manx today. I could have just driven, been week's over, drive the Bentley to dinner, whatever. But I wanted to commit whole week with the Manx, every drive. And the very last one, the very last drive home, it was nope, karma's up.
Well, you're durability testing, so hopefully this thing's just something jiggled loose or whatever.
Yeah, it's something really stupid. It's been, the notes for adjustment. Yeah, there's the driver's side mirror just needs to be tightened a little bit. It feels like the clutch cable might need to be lubricated. It's not quite as smooth as it was the first couple of days. The skid pan under the engine, there's a skid plate. My car does run a couple of degrees hotter than the other car, and it was only doing it for me. When they were testing the car, it wasn't doing it. And when the boys came up to fiddle with my car, it wasn't doing it. And then when I'm driving, it's doing it. We couldn't fucking figure it out. And eventually Jonathan calls me, he goes, I've got it. When we test your car, when we're fiddling with it, we take the skid pan off to check for leaks. We then put it back on and you're driving it. Oh, it only happens after I've been driving for an hour, 45 minutes an hour. It literally, over time, heat soaks the skid plate and traps heat. And so they're going to punch louvers in the skid plate and or make some type of a duct,
cool.
but that's who would have, maybe someone would have seen that coming, but there's one, okay. But dude, we drove it everywhere. It was awesome.
It's so bright. The sparkle is amazing, but it's fantastic. People looking at your Instagram, seeing that thing go down Highway 1. I was behind you for most of it in the Bentley. It's it's such a cute, friendly thing. And to your point about driving that versus hypercars, Sarah, while we were driving, was like, what would you bring to Pebble of everything? And I was like, I'd bring an electric Volkswagen 21-window bus or something. Because I think the move is people start out buying a hypercar thinking that's the cool thing. And then you realize you want something small and friendly.
Yeah.
We had the same effect with the Morgan. No one's threatened by the Morgan. No one thinks you're a douche driving the Morgan.
Yeah.
It's just an approachable car that people think is fun.
Pretty interesting, fun, something that makes people smile.
Not trying to be tactical, masculine, whatever.
Something that is not so clearly, ridiculously overqualified for a traffic jam.
Yeah, we saw, there were many McLarens driving around, but we saw one, and it was from some speed shop, and they had their name on the sill. And
the Le Mans fin?
And they had the Le Mans fin,
the dorsal fin.
They had, super. It was like they were under braking, and they were going 5 miles per hour in Carmel. That kind of peacocking is just ridiculous.
Yeah. No, the Manx is at regular car speeds, and I'm talking about anything under like 70, it's more fun than any exotic car. You're doing it. You feel the rack and pinion steering communicates beautifully.
Yeah.
The ride is really good. It's really engaging and fun. It's it's capable to a point, but it really reminds you about the purity of driving at speeds that are, dude. There's that. So the road, I took this road from our rental house to like Pebble. There's like the back way. It's like Aguajito Road.
Yep.
I took that road every time. So like doing like 35 bombing down that road in this is like doing 90 up Angeles Crest or something, You're just like ripping through the gears and you're making a bunch of noise. You're not really going all that fast, but like you're sure feeling it. You're feeling all of it. And so I really got down with it
Good.
the whole week.
Slow car's fast.
Yeah. It's not that fast, but and actually at going down the section of it's Highway 1 between our house and Pebble Beach and Carmel, like that sort of hilly, windy two-lane road, doing that at 60, fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. Such a fucking nice thing. A little bit of a rolling roadblock when your friends all drive sports cars and you're going down to Big Sur. How did it sound being behind it? Like airplane-y or not really?
Yeah. It's got like a blat, kind of sound to it, and it's strange in a good way. Like you've never heard anything like it before.
Yeah.
So that's cool. This is funny. That's
yeah. Too bad Johnny's take is actually wrong.
Yeah,
and I could fucking prove it. I have it in writing. He wrote to me that was his favorite car he saw that day. I got fucking the receipts, Habibi.
Yeah, it's well executed.
I think actually our buddy Shant. Go back to the shooting brake that Shant built. For me, that is probably it's a previous post. For me, that is probably the ultimate Pebble car week car for me. A coach built AMG car with a beautiful. This is a shooting brake built by our friends at CMS Motorsports. Crazy interior.
Yes.
Great visibility. So you could see everything. Looks
the length,
cool.
The side rear window is as
so
long,
sick.
actually longer than the hood of this car.
Yeah.
And try to think of any vehicle. I mean, like the rear window on a Suburban, the rear side window, this looks longer than that. And that's probably the biggest piece of glass on sale. So the thing looks crazy and really cool.
That to me is my perfect Pebble car. Get a good house. Because this car, you wouldn't have to trailer this up. You could drive this up, Get a great house. Get a car like this that looks cool and makes people think. It makes people smile. Mm-hmm. People go, what is that? What am I looking at? There's Easter eggs in there. For instance, it kind of looks like this car has a blue tint, and in fact it has like window tint, and in fact it has fully clear windows and a full blue interior that's like insane.
Yeah.
So that's my idea of probably the perfect Pebble car. But I'm gonna do a lot more with the Manx though. And do you see Eli's Manx? It's sick. The green one from Auto Works, that one.
I don't think I saw it.
It was near mine, but it had a Porsche motor and Porsche tail lights and Porsche gauges. It was pretty slick. I was into it.
And that has a spicy engine, right?
A spicy Porsche engine.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's the Tuthill one, which is just banana.
The LFG?
Yeah.
Well, that's not a Manx.
That's not a Manx.
No, that's its own thing.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah. And LFG is a very good name. It stands for loud, fast, gone, of course. We can do, look, I mean, what's crazy is this thing looks like, it looks like a plastic concept car.
Yeah.
Like most new cars, especially these boutique cars, when they're first shown, it's like a plasticky concept car, right? Or, something, the next step up from a scale clay model, really. This looks like it's that, except that's actually it. That's a finished, it's not finished, but it's a fully functional running, driving. The screens on the dash work. It has CarPlay. Richard was showing me videos on his phone of him drifting it the night before the party on Wednesday. Wow. These are going to have a choice of engines. You're going to be able to do an air-cooled flat six, a water-cooled flat six. There's Richard Tuttle driving it. Look, those screens. Look at the passenger co-driver screen.
Co-driver screen has CarPlay.
Sequential gearbox,
Thing
handbrake.
rips. I mean, if you people go to his Instagram and turn the sound on, Charlie.Tuttle, like this thing's hauling ass.
Yeah.
So definitely not a concept car
like
that
a
has to be
rally raid
carried
car.
onto something.
This is Carmel Valley Road. He's mobbing. And those doors come off. Those glass doors come off entirely. So you can get an air-cooled engine, a water-cooled engine, or the 911K engine.
If you buy this car, if anyone out listening buys this car, you have to drive it in the dirt and play with it. That's what it's for. That's what Richard does with his cars.
Well, they're doing.
Don't just show pony this shit and drive it to Cars and Coffee and register it in Montana. Like that, this almost, stuff like this, not this car, but like the existence of safari things that cost a ton of money and don't get driven bothers me almost more than the special edition hypercar stuff. That I think this is more offensive to me.
Yeah. They're doing a spec
misuse,
series with these for racing.
Great, and they're going to run this in Baja and stuff.
It's a class in Baja, 20 cars.
And Tuttle, shout out to him, like he organizes rally events. They organize the snow rally stuff with his cars. I mean, he is a legit driver person. I just hope the customers do that too.
Do you know what else he said, my friend? He said, if we go to England, we can drive this.
We should go to England.
Yeah.
You hear that, Doug? I'm coming to London.
We gotta make some rounds in England. You know. Yep. Let's go to a few from the people. Pebble was awesome. I had a lot more things on my list. We'll get to it. I don't want to talk too much about towing with the Bentley because I'm doing a story with it for Road and Track. But long story short, towing with a Bentley went great. Everybody should just tow with Bentleys. That's all. That's the consumer advice of the day.
Right.
Totally relatable. Everyone should tow with Bentleys.
Right.
And last thing about Pebble, I got to give a little shout out to my new friend, Edwin Castro. Do you know that name? He won the Powerball. He won $2 billion Powerball.
I've heard of him.
And then he just started buying Porsches.
Yeah.
So
he bought everything.
He bought a lot of stuff. I hung out with him at the Quail. I didn't know who he was. Sat there talking to him. He was a fan. Introduced by Tamarian, by John. And talking to him for a minute, and then by the way, this dude's cool, man. Like, he is fucking one of us. This guy is down. He's cool as fuck.
Wait, is he different? Didn't you meet a guy on a rally that had won?
That's a different guy.
Oh, okay.
That's a different guy. Okay. I don't even want to say his name, but that guy won $880 million.
You said he's very nice. Also,
at 23 years old. Edwin Castro's a little older. I think he's in his mid-30s. He still won an enormous amount of money, but. He's got cool taste in stuff. He is a fan of the show, and he lives in LA. He wants to hang out.
Wow.
And he's mellow. He was really, really fun.
Mr. Castro, when you buy your LFG from Tuttle, make sure that you drive the shit out of it in the dirt. Because you are the target customer.
That dude was actually, he was pretty cool. I hope that I would act like that if I fucking got $2 billion in Powerball. Yeah. He's doing it all right.
Nice.
Yeah. So anyway, Pebble Car Week was pretty intense. There was some highlights. There was I don't want to say low lights, but there was just the transition away from vintage cars and to hypercars and boutique new sports cars and things like that is happening pretty rapidly. Mm-hmm. The auction prices reflect it. The kind of stuff you see driving around reflects it. The cars have gotten much, much newer. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. It just is what it is. But I still like going. It's still fun. Getting to show a car is very, very cool. That's a new twist on a way to do it. Getting a house is definitely the way to do it. That's the jam. But let's do a few questions from the people. Next, our next show will have a lot more questions, but Pebble was a big week of things, so obviously we wanted to cover it. But we'll do a few. Of course, if you want to ask us questions for the podcast, if you want to get the podcast early, if you want to get the podcast without ads, if you want to get exclusive early access to merch and collabs, if you want to support your favorite podcasters, patreon.com/The Smoking Tire Podcast is where you do it. And we'll do a few of these questions. One from Two-Lane Backshot. Daily a Cybertruck for a month or drive a Model T cross country?
Model T cross country.
Model T cross country.
That's a story.
Yeah, that's a story.
It's 50 stories.
It's an adventure. Yeah, that's true. We were just talking about this with Spike and Jerry at the thing. He was saying that the famous Leno quote that said, like, you know, if you put me in a fucking cryo thing and I went to sleep for 100 years and woke up and there was an electric car and a steam car, you know, I would take the steam car because I at least know I can get somewhere with that. I don't necessarily agree with it to that degree, but that was the vibe. But I would rather go Model T cross country, assuming there was someone with me who knew how to fix it. Just the Tiptronic, good name. Given all the free stuff to do for Car Week, is attending the Quail worth the $1,500 ticket price? Obviously, that depends on one's financial situation, but curious if you have any thoughts. I wouldn't pay $1,500 to go to the Quail. I would not.
I wouldn't either. I wouldn't stretch to pay that. I mean, there are people there that's no problem for them. Fine, but if this is like, oh, you know, it's this or 3 tickets to Taylor Swift for 3 friends, because those are expensive.
Yeah,
I think the fact. I saw so many of the cars that were at Quail parked around Carmel.
Yeah.
Like the whole Pagani display was literally on a street we walked past.
Yeah.
You can see a lot of these cars around, and you can get plenty of value from Car Week without having to pay the money to then go stand around them on a stage.
Yeah.
You know,
Quail is cool. Like, don't get me wrong, it is. It's people ask me about ticket prices all the time, and I'm very spoiled because we get access for work and we don't have to pay for ticket prices. Would I pay retail to go something like that? Probably not. Probably wouldn't. That's a crazy amount of money to go to an event.
But we have a friend of ours paid retail, and he had a great time.
Yeah.
Another friend of mine from college, his friend paid for his ticket, and they had a great time.
Yeah.
Like, for the people that can totally afford it, Quail puts on an amazing event. The cars are rad. The food and drink and everything there is like, I mean, it is a magical bubble land.
Yeah.
You know.
The food is on the level, the food and drink are on the level of like a medium high-end wedding.
Yep.
Which is pretty good for a car show.
Yeah.
And it's all included. You don't have to spend any money once you're in the door.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you're pretty committed, you could take advantage of that. I spend most of the time talking to people and not – I don't think I ate hardly anything.
I ate once.
Yeah, I didn't
seeing
eat really
friends
anything.
is fun. Yeah.
Yeah. I actually, you know, that whole week, because I didn't work out. We walked around a lot, but I didn't work out. I only ate 2 meals a day the whole week. I fully ate 30% less food because I wasn't working out, which is, I think, how bodies are supposed to work. 5-liter of cola, a 50-liter of cola. That's pretty good.
That's great.
What's your best example of don't meet your car heroes? For me, it was a Cobra. I'm 6'5" with size 14 shoes. Yeah. Cobras
That's
aren't
tough.
for everybody. I mean, the obvious one is the DeLorean, even though the car wasn't that disappointing. It just isn't great for L.A.
It's not a hero car, but I thought the Dark Horse was going to be amazing because the GT350 was amazing, the Mach 1 was amazing, the 500 was awesome for what it is, and I just went, oh, it's just more Mustang with more engineering? Great. And then it was like the steering was weird and it felt too big and it was like the screens were bad, and it was definitely the lesser Mustang, even though it cost more than all the ones I mentioned.
I think I think a lot of very pretty GT cars, like GT cars and luxury cars, often like look cool and are, you know, comfortable and have nice leather and whatever, but are not particularly interesting to drive a lot of times. You know,
Sometimes they lack a sharpness that you associate with the brand, like the 550 Ferrari.
Yeah.
You think Ferrari, you think race car, and then you drive their GT car, and it's doing its job.
Yeah.
But it will lack some of the things that you might associate with that brand.
Sure. Yeah. Granny shifting, not double clutching like you should. The McLaren S1 at the Quail reminded me of a previous thought I had. Why don't manufacturers bring back classic car designs with modern powertrains? For example, a G80 M3 with an E46 M3 body. I mean, I don't know if old bodies will meet current regulations, for one.
Or the engines might not fit, for two. Packaging is a big thing.
Yeah. BMW told us they couldn't make the fucking beaver teeth any smaller because it wouldn't work with the cooling, right?
Yeah.
Well, it certainly won't work with an E46 nose. I mean, Ford is like approved Revology for doing those Mustangs, so it's like there's another company doing it, but it's got the blessing of Ford. So that's things. There's recreations and continuations of a variety of cars. It's just not from manufacturers. If a I don't know if a manufacturer can sell cars in mass and then also sell one model as ultra low volume.
Ooh, that's a good question.
I think because Morgan said, the guy from Morgan, John from Morgan told me, your whole company, if you're ultra low volume, which Morgan is considered in the U.S., it's like 375 cars across the entire company in America. So if you're a company like BMW that's a bigger company than that, you can't build a niche product like that for ultra low volume. Yeah.
Got it.
So that's why it's third party, because they're restorations on an individual level. Yeah. Last one, and then it's time I get some dinner. Ted Stryker says, I've noticed that my hometown has added a Mach-E to their police force, which got me thinking, what cars would make the best police cars that aren't widely used? I mean, that aren't widely used.
How do we define best? I mean, because these departments, there's auditions for their cars.
They literally
all the OEMs show up and they go, our car can do this and withstand that, and the maintenance is this, and they all campaign to get chosen.
Yeah.
But like, by the way,
that Cadillac concept.
Quick Worston show goes to the Monterey SWAT department.
Oh yeah,
that had a giant lifted like MRAP machine that did nothing except spend book money on that machine.
There was my worst in show at the Quail, aside from the SWAT team, was a Lamborghini Revuelto that had the person's Instagram handle on it on 3 different places.
Well, you shouldn't be the first one.
You should not be allowed to show your car at the Quail if it has an Instagram handle on it. You shouldn't.
Is that our generation's version though of putting the poster in front of your car that says, "This is my Corvette"?
Shouldn't be able to do that at the Quail either.
Yeah.
That's a real Baja Cantina vibe, dude.
I like Baja Cantina, man. You see a bunch of great shit there.
I like Baja Cantina too. It's just a shit show.
Yeah, that's true. But there was like a Ford GT, and then there's a Rad Hot Rod, and then there's a super old Ferrari, and everyone's just hanging out getting a taco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all right.
That used to be one of the cool free events at Quail.
It was.
Like
it
Wednesday
still
night.
kind of is. It's just like you need to like park somewhere else or so. It's just getting in and out of that place.
Yeah, true.
What other car would be a good? I mean, a good police car. Fucking Priuses, dude. They should all be driving Priuses. Every cop should be driving Prius. We need to fucking emasculate them.
That's a good idea. Actually, yeah. EV calms them down.
Yeah. I don't want them to have fucking paramilitary shit.
I don't either.
Emasculate.
Prius is a good idea.
Yeah.
I support that.
Yeah.
And because a lot of states are banning police chases now, you don't need to be able to hit people. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah.
Kind of works.
That's our show. Thanks for listening, everybody. Of course, patreon.com/The Smoking Tire Podcast is where you get all of the things. You can get the show without ads. You can get the show ahead of time. You can get the show... You get it. You've heard the thing. Also, last but certainly not least, shout out to our friend Larry Chen. Sent us his new book, Life at Shutter Speed. It is a beautiful coffee table book from Carrera Books, and it comes in this case. It is really nice paper, really beautiful prints. There's quite a few. Ooh, it even smells like a good book. There's quite a few photos of my cars in here. And man, there's just thousands of images in this book, and you should check it out for yourself. If there's a car person in your life that could use a gift for their home, I do recommend that. Larry will be on the show in a couple of weeks to talk about it. Anything else, Zach?
Nope.
All right. See you next time. Bye.